The salesman said the car is in perfect condition. They said the car is roadworthy, is perfect to drive around, but in fact it is not. The driving experience is totally ruined. The car is not like this, okay? Guys, remember something. When you do replace the shock absorbers from Nivomat to normal, it's mandatory to replace the spring. It's not doing anything, nothing, just noise. And the bump stop, completely dead. Okay, right away you can see that the suspension is really hard. The back end of the car, the shock absorbers are totally shot. They are the Nivomat system. It is no longer there. On top of that, transversal bars on the back have play because the back of the car is always dancing, like I told you on my video of my sedan. The same problem. On the front we have some issues with the noises, some wear and tear on the ball joints, maybe on the upper bushings. We'll see. We'll raise up the car to see and confirm all of these symptoms. Okay. Another symptom was the rev counter was not working properly, and in fact it does appear to be stucking a bit. That is common to happen sometimes on these first models. The rev counter goes like it's stuck, and sometimes it really stucks. So that can be repaired here in Portugal by that company that I told you on the other video about the reset of the service. The power is good for us, 110 horsepower. It's nice, but we cannot use this power because the car is really unstable. It's always going on the floor almost. Cannot use this power. Good power, but not comfortable to use it. On the windshield wipers, they do make that noise. The plates are new, but the arm is broken. We'll take care of that. The horn is missing one. The thermostat is no longer there. The temperature goes up when I accelerate, and it goes down when I let go. 9 degrees outside, 9, 10, 8 at this point, and I have the engine at 60 degrees and I'm pushing the car. If I go normal driving, the temperature collapses to 50 or less. The clutch pedal is really hard and the brakes are really hard too, but the car does not brake well. Well, like I told you on my videos about brakes, what I think is happening here, it's a bunch of combinations of problems. So the pedal starts to feel really stiff, and you may think, oh, maybe that's the servo that is bad. No, the servo is good. The thing is, as you are trying to push the fluid through the pipes to the calipers, you may encounter blockage on the hoses, on the flexible hoses to the calipers. If you do so much force on the pedal, the pedal feels weird, feels very firm, but the car will not stop with the same force that you're trying to stop, because the pressure does not reach the calipers. Eventually the pressure will reach it, but as soon as you take out the force from the pedal, the pressure between the caliper and the flexible hose is still there. It's still grabbing on the pads, and in that way you are burning the pads and burning the rotors, and then you are burning the fluid. It boils, okay? And now every time you want to brake and brake and brake, you start to feel and hear the rotors making noise, the pedal is hard, and eventually the pedal becomes squeegee because the fluid has boiled. The same thing on this pedal clutch is very hard, and as you know, the pedal is hard 90% of the times because of the clutch kit. Of course, we can do that maintenance of changing the dot 4 on the lines like I did so many times, and you can see if the spring is okay, if it's there at all, if it is not broken. But 90% of the times the problem is on the clutch assembly. Remember, if you have a very hard clutch pedal, the primary and secondary clutch pumps will fail much faster because you are doing so much force that it was supposed to do on those pumps, okay, on those cylinders. They will not hold down to the fluid, they will start to leak left and right. You change the cylinders again and again, and the problem is always there. It's not normal for this clutch to be so hard. It's common, but it's not normal to be like this. And remember to use the proper, correct assembly brand for this. This is Sachs Vallejo, not Lug Schaffler. Okay, remember this. Seeing here this roll fender, that's because the car is so low that the tire actually hit the fender. Clearly the car has been painted and the car has suffered a accident. We can see some evidence of that. The interior is very cool, very nice. Nothing really wrong with the interior, apart from the ref counter is sticking a bit. The clutch pedal there starting to be very worn out because of the hardness. As we do so much force on the pedal, it actually wears out much quicker. The doors kind of close well. This one not so much. Maybe the lock itself. The antenna completely rusted through. This is not normal in Portugal. We have very good climate. So I think this was already without nothing, and then they just stuck something on top, maybe like this. The door straps are doing noise. They are still available for the back. This passenger door is not the same story. It does not want to close very well. It goes like this over here, and it starts to stick. And I already discovered the problem. Some rubber on the outside, and then they painted through that on top of the rubber. Look at that. This rubber, I believe, is not savable. Is very, because it has this plastic bit. Let me see if I can do something, maybe fit it in there. I don't know. Some rust spots over here. Okay, on the interior, once again, really nice. Over here, again, the door strap making noise, and it is still available from the dealer. On the hatch over here, this is working correctly, nice. Glad to see someone is watching my videos. The gas struts are nice too. I can see some more evidence of painting, some overflow over here, but okay. Generally, visually a nice car, but mechanically it has some issues. Well, it does not close. That's not good. That's not normal to close that hard. On the engine itself, on the engine bay, what do we have here? The gas struts are, that one is dead. This left one, completely dead. And that one still holds on a bit. So for the mechanic, please change that. My friend asked me to see if the timing belt was replaced recently. That is not very easy to see because, as you may imagine, the letters wear out very quickly. But I think, I don't know. I will take out the engine cover to see very quickly if it is the case or not. I can see that the antifreeze is not antifreeze. It's just muddy water. I can see here that the fluid for the brakes is black as dirt. The power steering fluid goes on to be almost black. not good too. So this car really needs a good overhaul on every aspect of it. This is broken, maybe because of the accident that occurred on this area over here. I can see some very good evidence of repairs on that shock tower, on this front cross member. Really sketchy, this one. So I raised up a bit the rear of the car to show my colleague how is supposed to be the height of the car. And to my surprise, the front of the car is even lower. So I really think something is happening with this suspension. Someone tried to do something on it, and it's really not the way it's supposed to be. So let's see the place, the wear and tear on the back and on the front, and at the same time try to see if it's something out of place on the front in terms of the height of the car. Because on the rear it is the Nivomat absorbers that tell how high the car is, but on the front is normal. It's the springs themselves that do that job, okay? Guys, remember something. When you do replace the shock absorbers from Nivomat to normal, it's mandatory to replace the spring. It's not doing anything, nothing, just noise. And the bump stop, completely dead. So if these shock absorbers are still good, you just need the set of 2 springs. And on the play here, nothing very important on this side. And on this side, lots of play, lots and lots of play. Trying to show you on this inner side. Okay, this is the problem. To compare is this surface with the surface of the tire. This is the play on the back side. And again, the bump stop completely non-existent, which is very bad for the shock absorber, because if you don't have a bump stop, you will not have the protection to the shaft of the shock absorber, and then dust and debris will infect the sealer of the shock absorber, and the shock absorber dies. So, not from here. You have to replace the spring, and at this point, the top mount is broken because the spring does not do anything over there. Another thing, this rear wiper, as it goes down, it hits on the paint job. It's badly tuned. It must be higher, but most of all, it has some play. But even if you have play, you have to account for that. Put the freaking wiper over there, so it stops over there. Okay, on the left side of the car, we can see that the cable for the handbrake, the left one, is held on by construction wire. What appears to be construction wire, maybe. And the hangers for the exhaust are completely shot as well. They have to be replaced. I recommend you to replace the 2 of the back box and the 4 of the rest of the of the exhaust. I am seeing there something on the center box of the exhaust. The hanger, it's not there, it's broken. And the front ones are good. So yeah, lots to do on this car. Lots and lots to do. So on the back side, on the right side, we can see the play is over here. On that back part over there. It's not very bad, but on the driving experience, it really is very bad. Okay. Also up here, I can see that we have play on that rear sway bar. But all this suspension has to be disassembled to see every single bushing, to see more plays. Probably more are to come. So on the lower side, on the front of the car over here, is the same on the left to the right. The damage of the car is the same. So I have a lot of play on this ball joint over here. I have my trusty bar to see. I can put force on top, and I can see that I have a lot of play on this ball joint. So I hope you can see it moving about. On this position, It may not appear to be much, and it is, okay, not really that much, but it's really not that much, but it cannot be like this, okay? It fails on MOT. On the left side of the car is the same. That steering component is bad as well. It is on the left side, it's also bad. To see if you have any play on the sway bar on the front, you grab on the sway bar with both hands, one hand on this side and the other on the other side of the car, and you push it from left to right, okay? If it moves, you have play on it. And this one has a lot of it, okay? So you have to replace either the bushings or the entire sway bar. These links over here are good. They are the only thing on the car that is good on the front of the suspension. This top here, this top triangle of suspension may be savable. What you want to do to see if that bushings over there have play, you put your hand over here and push it back and forward like this. It must not move at all. But as I was rising the car, those bushings over there made a lot of squiggly noise. So I think if we can do the maintenance on this top arm, we can save it. To see if this ball joint has play, you put your hand over here and do the same thing, back and forward. Okay, no movement. So probably this top arm is savable. So on the left side, the same thing. I can feel no movement, so probably, but a lot of noise. So maintenance on these top triangles, top arms. I also can see that that shaft boot is torn. It must be fixed immediately before it gets bad. And these shock absorbers, I can see that are Bilstein. And I know for a fact that these B4 Bilstein are a bit shorter than the Sachs ones, the original ones. And I don't know the condition of these springs. I don't know if they are the lowered ones or whatever, but I can do something. Remember on my video that I did about the assembly of the suspension of the 156 GT 147, instead of putting the jack underneath the suspension and raise it up all the way, this time I will do something different, and I will alleviate the screw and let the weight of the wheel push this fork down to raise up the car, okay, to give it a bit more ride height. Okay, so what do we have here? The timing belt was done, okay. That high pressure pump does not need to be marked with white paint or whatever color they choose to do. In fact, I want to do the timing belt on my sedan. I want to do the timing belt on my 155 very soon on my 155, and I'll show you how I like to do that. Each and every one of these engines, it's despite being very similar in raw construction, they are totally different. This one and for my multijet is totally different, okay, the way we do the timing belts. Okay, so they did replace the water pump, they did replace the tensioner and pulley and the belt and the accessories belt as well. But oh my god, how do you do this? You replace everything. This is very hard work, and then you put everything to shame with water. What the hell? Why not some stupid antifreeze instead? At least that and more. As the car had some accidents over here, these AC lines they are not correct because I cannot put my tools over here. They tighten this screw with a pair of pliers over here, very stupid. And then down here, the two metal aluminium AC pipes are rubbing together. This is a big no-no. And on top of that, they attached this plastic wiring loom line on this. This plastic loom is harder than aluminium. It will eat up the aluminium all the way through. And this, even though if this part was not here, this wiring loom, these two aluminium pipes cannot be together, cannot rub together. It's not this way. Another thing, this solenoid valve for the turbo, it's missing something. The filter is not there. Okay, over here. What this means is pollution, gases, dust will enter the system, and it will fail very easily. Not only that, that debris and everything that can enter through this valve will pollute the inside of the hoses, the inside of the vacuum box as well, and can clog the system. So this is really urgent to replace. Replace this, replace the antifreeze, replace the suspension components. I already was able to lower the suspension, I mean open up the suspension a bit more, so the front of the car is a bit higher, and on the back it needs everything. On the front, lower arms, the upper arms can be, if you do the maintenance, maybe they will come together, and that's it. The salesman said the car is in perfect condition. They said the car is roadworthy, is perfect to drive around, but in fact it is not. The driving experience is totally ruined. The car is not like this, okay? And you can see that, and my colleagues saw that with my normal 156, with sport suspension from factory and 17-inch rims from factory. It's much more comfortable than this one.